Hey guys, so today what I wanted to talk about was my most recent heavy dose mushroom experience. Before I unfold with that, I just want to thank you guys for the encouraging comments you left on my video about my artwork. One of the viewers, Flat Out Rich, suggested that I do a trip report in front of my artwork, and I thought that was a good idea, so thank you for that. And then another viewer gave me some useful advice about uploading my stuff to Reddit and making a DeviantArt account, and I appreciate that. Thank you guys, it's really encouraging. So let us begin. This was about 3 years ago. I have been pretty horrified to go back to a heavy dose mushroom experience. My friend and I decided to stay up all night and wait for my family to go to work in the morning, so we would have the house to ourselves. And we each took 6 grams each of psilocybe cubensis. I think it was like 6 grams each, something like that. And we lemon teched it. For those of you that don't know what the lemon tech is, that's when you take the dried mushrooms and you powder them up and you put them into lemon juice, and you will chug the lemon juice and mushrooms and all. What this is supposed to do, allegedly online they say that the citric acid converts the psilocybin into psilocin, so when it hits your stomach it doesn't have to forgo the process of being digested and passing through your liver for your liver to convert the psilocybin into psilocin. So when you have a stomach full of psilocin, it hits you right away. And I would agree with this. When you lemon tech it, or just I would suggest dissolve. It doesn't have to be lemons. You can dissolve it in grapefruit or any kind of. I made I don't even know if I used lemons this time. It's just any kind of fruit juice. Make it taste real good, and it will hit you faster, and it does change the chip. It does change the trip. It makes it more visual, in my opinion, and it's shorter. It's a shorter trip and smoother. I used to say that doing a lemon tech was better on your stomach too, but these past few times I've actually been throwing up, and I haven't been doing heavy doses, just like doing like eighths and stuff. But hey, the throwing up feels good when you do it. It's like a release of energy and a purge. But here we go. We each chug our 6-gram concoction and we wait down here. We both decided to roll ourselves a J. And listen, because this is important to the story. When I was rolling my joint, I left a stem in the weed and I poked a hole in my joint. So I double wrapped it. And my friend was gonna stay out and sit on one of the recliners, and I went to my usual bathroom spot, my little safe space, and I laid out a sleeping bag and some pillows. We lit some candles, and we could only agree on 4 songs to listen to for our trip, so we had these 4 same songs playing on repeat for like what was about to be like a 6 to 8 hour trip. Anyways, we chugged this shit, and it comes on within like 15 minutes, like real quick, and you can tell it's gonna be strong. When you take mushrooms, on the come up, it's as if there is a potential that builds. as Terrence McKenna would say it. And what this potential that builds is, you feel high and you feel spacey. And for me, it's like I can feel like a almost like a pressure in my head. You can, it's like you can feel the molecules of psilocin replacing your serotonin or whatever. And this builds for like about an hour or so, and you'll get to a point where you'll smoke a joint and it unleashes the floodgates, and the potential starts turning into a trip. You're not tripping on the come up. It's a weird high. I get really sleepy with the heavy doses, and you just feel out of it. But anyways, this comes on within like 15 minutes, and I'll wait another 15 minutes, and I'll feel that the potential is ready to be broken. So I'm in my little safe space bathroom, got the door closed and the candles lit and all that, and I smoke about half a joint, and everything started becoming real DMT-esque. When you're like 2 or 1 hit away from breaking through on DMT, what happens for me is the flame, you notice the flame in the bowl become like all fractalized in tracers, and there's like purple translucent geometry that swirls through the air and changes patterns and all that. Also, it feels very warm, an emotional kind of warm, like an atmospheric kind of warm, not temperature atmosphere, but like going to like a romantic restaurant or a nice cozy warm welcoming house. Along those lines, it's a very loving, warm, welcoming type of feel, and this is what it felt like. I'd say about 30 minutes. I mean, like I said, guys, this was about 3 years ago, so it's really hard for me to remember exactly how it went. But anyways, I smoke and I close my eyes. For those of you that don't know, you're supposed to close your eyes on these heavy dose trips and do it in a dark space, and you wash the back of your eyelids. So that's what I did. I smoked and I laid down and I closed my eyes. And there's all this, they were like puzzle pieces, like pieces of floor tile or like plastic puzzle pieces, like real polished and neat looking, and they were red, green, gold, and white, like a little bit of an off-white, and they were interconnected. They had little lights on them, like little flashing lights, and all the puzzle pieces were rearranging and reconfiguring and refitting and overlapping and overlaying, and there was layers, and it felt very warm and loving, and there were lights flickering, and everything kept transforming into all these different puzzle pieces, but it kept the same style. It was the same style, and this was going on for like 15-20 minutes, it seemed like. And the whole time while this was going on, I'm watching, but also I'm trying to talk to the entities, the DMT elves or the psilocybin elves that Terrence McKenna speaks of. People say that psilocybin is just supposed to talk to you, and for me, it has one time. The other 2 heavy dose experiences, this time and the time before, it did not speak to me for whatever reason. But when you're laying there and you got your eyes closed, in your head, what you're supposed to do is say like, hello, like, is anyone there? Like, talk to me. Where are you guys at? Like, talk to me. And I was doing this, and everything felt so Elven. I could feel elves. I could feel gnomes. They were like little quirky, zany, sneaking around, mischievous type of little wise men sneaking around. Like, take your cliche depiction of a Santa Claus North Pole type elf, not Legolas from Lord of the Rings, but like we're talking like Santa's workshop elves, and it feels so elfish, and I don't know how to say other than that. And I know that sounds bizarre, but that's what it feels like. When you do these heavy doses, guys, you'll experience new sensations that you've never experienced in your life. It'd be like waking up one day and seeing a new color, or waking up one day and using a new muscle you never knew you had, or waking up one day and experiencing a new emotion that you've never felt before. You will feel things that you've never felt before. And this is what was happening. When I say I could feel the elves, I know that sounds bizarre, but you could like just feel their presence, and it's so perfect. It's so stylized, and like when you hear about it and you're sober, you're like, oh, all right, elves, okay, that sounds cool. I want to experience it. And then you experience it, and you're like, holy fucking shit, this is crazy. And that's what I was like. I could feel him sneaking around these morphing puzzle pieces. Oh, here you guys. Got some more artwork here. I don't know if you can see that well, but the puzzle pieces, they like interconnected like this, and they had somewhat of a similar color scheme, but this is salvia depiction, so don't like take that as what I'm talking about. But they're just crazy shaped puzzle pieces, like moving and shifting around, and I'm in this warm, loving environment. Also, it felt like I get this on DMT sometimes too. Like there's this light, and somehow your third eye can feel it, and it's like this like loving, warm energy is like shined down upon you. But anyways, I feel these elves, and I was like cracking the fuck up because it was just so quirky and zany, and I was laughing so hard, and I'm just like, I can't believe this is real. Like, they feel like elves way more than I expected, and this is just like the craziest shit ever. And they had a real mischievous feel about them. I was there in my head. I was like, speak to me, guys. Like, I'm trying to talk. I want to talk to you guys. I've done so much research about you guys. I want to talk to you because I see this as real. And some people just think it's a drug, but hey, this shit is as real as it gets. And they're sneaking around and sneaking around, and the puzzle pieces keep shifting. And so I'm like, all right, I need to smoke more weed. I need to get higher so like they can come through more clearly and speak to me. And I sit up to grab the joint that I had tapped out on my little plate, and I grab it. I'm just like, what the fuck? It was covered in this giant fucking loogie. And I screamed out to my friend. I was like, dude, do you feel these elf things? They just hawked a loogie on my joint. And he starts cracking up, and I'm cracking up, and I'm just like, this is so fucking crazy. And then he's like, wait, dude, my joint, something like changed with it. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, it's like double wrapped. I was like, what? And somehow our joints had been switched around. So I had his joint and he had mine because I had double wrapped mine earlier. So I had been in my bathroom the whole time this was going on. And this was probably like at the 45-minute mark, hour tops. And we were just like confounded. The way I see it, these elf things, man, they like pulled a prank on me. It was some kind of miracle. And a lot of people out there can be like, oh, you guys just probably switched them out before it and blah, blah, blah. Maybe, but I don't think so. It was like a literal magic trick. So I left my bathroom because I don't know. I just had to talk to my friend, and we're sitting there like just talking about how crazy everything felt, and everything kept building and building and building. So I'm laying on the floor right here, like right about where I'm filming this video at, and I start to get creeped out, and I start to feel bad because at this point I could feel the gnomes or the elves or whatever you want to call them. I could feel them like in me or on me. They were all over me, and I could feel that they knew every single thing about me. And I started getting creeped out, but I also felt bad because I was like, wow, that was kind of rude of me earlier to laugh at these things. Like, they're real beings, and I felt rude for laughing at them. Like a legitimate, I felt bad. And I'm laying there, and everything is getting super fucking intense, and I'm getting real uncomfortable because these elf things are like, they are in you and on you and around you, and you feel it. So it starts like getting to the point where I'm like feeling like I'm dying. Of course, always happens on a heavy dose trip. And I decide to go up to my upstairs bathroom for whatever reason. I was trying to make myself throw up, I think. I was trying to puss out and like find my way out of it because it was just so fucking intense. But I couldn't make myself throw up. And I'm laying in that bathroom upstairs, and I notice on my skin that there's this white, fluffy, fuzzy, sticky stuff like all over my arms. And I could pick it up, and I could feel it and play with it. It was white, fuzzy, fluffy, sticky stuff. And the impression of what this stuff was that it gave me, it was a very strong impression of, you know how you get a package in the mail and it comes with styrofoam peanuts to keep the package or whatever's in the package from breaking? Well, this white, fuzzy, fluffy, sticky stuff felt like the equivalent of that, but it was elven packaging. Like packaging that elves used in the North Pole to package the toys that they make. I realized that sounds extremely bizarre to anyone not familiar with what I'm talking about, but I was covered in this shit. It was all over me, and the elves were all over me and around me, and I'm just like laying there, like my head's just rolling around. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And what the mushroom was telling me that it was truth. It was sticky, and I could pull it off, and it was using its stickiness. It was saying, stick to the truth. Stick to the truth. And this was the only aphorism that the mushroom gave me that whole trip. It talked to me about other things, but not in like a quotable, like condensed, direct message. The quotable, direct, condensed message was stick to the truth. Now I'm laying there, and here's a tip for you guys. I believe that Tim Leary might have mentioned this for when the going gets rough. When you're in these spaces, guys, sometimes it helps to have some sort of an anchor. And what I mean by anchor, or a guide. A guide would be a good word. And you tell yourself, if Terrence McKenna can do this like hundreds of times, then I can do this. If that guy on YouTube making a video about his mushroom trip report can do this, I can do this. They were all okay. I'm gonna be okay. That's a very that helped me out a lot during this trip. Cause it gave me hope and I had faith that I was gonna be okay. Cause this shit was so fucking intense and so nuts. So I'm laying there, And at this point, I close my eyes again, and I could somehow see the whole world and like the interconnectedness of society, and I could see the government and the way people ruling our lives were ruling us. And then next thing I know, the mushroom was telling me about how it's important to be an upstanding member of society and like to help your community. And I know that it's just like I don't know, it's something goofy. It's like some kind of message I won't expect from a mushroom. Which then proceeded to tell me the importance of being a good friend and being there for your friends and loving your friends and doing things like being courageous for them and doing things that, you guys get the point. Next thing I know, I come to, and I'm back in the bathroom I had started in. I had blacked out. And I pull myself up off the floor, and there's a big gash in my mouth. And I spat out all this blood. And I was literally convinced that I had died. It wasn't like me thinking that, oh, there's blood in my mouth and I just got up off the floor. Like, it feels like I think I might have died. No, I felt like I had died. And not only did I feel like I had died, I felt like the whole planet had died. I felt like we had experienced the apocalypse. And what death felt like was the merger of waking consciousness with dream state consciousness. So it seemed to me as though when you die, you enter the dream state, but you're as conscious as you are right now. And you will proceed to go to the next level and deal with dream type architecture, dream type archetypes, dream type physics, situation, everything that comes with dreams, but you'll be awake. And it'll be your next level and your next like transgression to the next level. Or next progression to the next level, excuse me. Or whatever you call it. And also what death felt like was a monstrous weight had been lifted off your shoulders. Life felt like a burden, like something you have to struggle through to get to the next level. And I was hyped as fuck. I felt so thankful for life. And I was just so pumped that I existed. Like, guys, take every moment of excitement that you've ever felt. Okay, excuse me. Every moment of excitement and merge that with every moment of appreciation that you've ever felt in your life. And you combine it all into one. And then you pump that thing full of steroids, that emotion you feel. That's what I felt like. I was going apeshit. Literally. I was screaming and like banging on the walls and running around. I was completely ecstatic. And I was literally convinced that I had died. Literally. And when I was doing this, I could hear the monkey in me when I was screaming. I could feel the monkeyness of us. Like the animal part of us. I was also seeing us as half gods, half monkeys, or half angels, half monkeys, and that's what it felt like. And I was, like I said, guys, I was so amped up. I grabbed a glass and I threw it into my wall. It was like a release of energy, and then I snapped my phone in half. Don't let that scare you away from doing this, guys. That was one of the most beautiful moments of my entire life, and I don't think I've ever been as thankful, except for like after DMT experiences and salvia. Salvia is more of a relief that you're back. But anyways, when I threw the glass, it snapped my friend out of it, and he woke up too. And I was thinking, like, the way he was talking, I was like, oh wait, he hasn't died yet. He's gonna experience it, and then we'll both be dead. And also, death felt like a huge celebration. Like, in my mind, I don't know why, but I expected all my friends and family to come over that night, and we would have like this big dinner and a big party, and like we'd all just be like loving each other and like so appreciative to be alive. So death just felt like a huge celebration of life, also a merger of waking consciousness and dream state. And then my friend, we're like screaming and running around and all amped up, and my friend's just like, dude, I would take a bullet for you. And we were screaming and running around, and my friend went outside, and he started, like, I think it was like probably like 8 or 9 in the morning at this point, and this was really bad. But he went outside, and he was literally like preaching in the streets. I think he was on my deck. I don't think he went to the street, but he was like screaming, and he's just like yelling hallelujah and all this. Like, all right, guys, little segue. I haven't done mushrooms since then, but if you're gonna do mushrooms, like 6 grams or whatever, 5 grams and up, 4 grams and up, even 4 grams. Don't do 4 grams, guys. I'll explain that later. Don't even go to 4 grams. Just go straight to 5 and up. But anyways, I would say don't do it with a friend. After that experience, I would say have your, and this is really important too, have one of your best friends trips at you, like someone you trust with your life, not someone you've been friends with for like a year, but like someone you are super fucking close with. Trust me, guys, trust me. Anyways, he came back inside, and my dog had felt the energy of what had been happening, and she was shivering or shaking because she was really scared, because we were acting nuts. We were amped up, and I thought she was dying too. Like, everything I was looking at, like, I was looking at from death, so she like seemed like she was dying too, and this like snapped me out of the trip. So I like got down on the floor, and I was like hugging her and trying to comfort her, and she ended up being fine. And then like a few minutes later, I realized, I was like, Jesus Christ, what did I just do? And I came back down here and proceeded to clean up all the glass. And at this point, my brain felt so fried. Like, the trip had been mostly down, and I just felt exhausted and like burnt out after this. So I was like on the Comedown, vacuuming glass and pulling it out of my wall. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what am I gonna tell my parents? Like, this is so bad. Blah blah blah. And shortly after that, we passed out. And when they came home and woke me up, I had come up with this excuse that I had tried to reach out to this girl that rejected me a few months back, and she just said something like so terrible that I lost control, and they bought it. And I feel bad that I have to lie to my parents about that, but they wouldn't understand if I told them I threw a glass in the wall because I was so thankful to be alive. It doesn't add up. But yeah, actually, yeah, I'll show you guys. Oh, we're still filming. All right, cool. I thought I fucked up real quick. All right. Can you guys see the imprint? My friend and I decided that once my family and I moves out of this house, that we're going to cut that out of the wall and frame it, because that was one of the most beautiful days of my entire life, guys. Here, let's change the artwork up real quick while I finish this story. I'm actually pretty proud of this piece. So yeah, guys. For the most part, that's what happened. Like I said, I've been scared to go back just because of how intense it got, and the actions that I took after I peaked. But hey, that has to be one of the top 5 days of my entire life. It was one of the most beautiful experiences ever. When they say magic mushrooms, and I look back to the joints getting switched around and the loogie on my joint, it's like a prank that these elves pulled or whatever. It's not metaphorical. It really is magic. The more you experiment and explore with these entheogens, I think the more you'll see that reality is not what it appeared to be. I want to go back. Here's something, guys. If you choose to go to these places, you better be prepared to put in the work, because ignorance is bliss. And once you're no longer ignorant, you can either put in the work or you can be scared and hide from it. But hiding from it doesn't necessarily make it better. You gotta put into practice what these things show you. And if you go back and you haven't, then they will spank your ass. They will teach you that do what we're telling you. So I guess in a way I'm saying that I don't feel as though I have lived up to what I've been taught, and I'm working on it. And I would really love to go back. These things really, really, really do take courage, guys. It's incredible. Like I'm so happy that I exist, and I'm so happy that psilocybin exists, and DMT, and salvia. All these. I'm just so thankful, guys. So yeah, don't forget. Stick to the truth, guys. Be honest to who you are and what you are, and be honest about what you're doing, and stick to the truth. That was my main message from the mushroom trip. That elf packaging, though, that was fucking bizarre. These elves, these gnomes, guys, they're so cool. It's got such a perfect artistic style to it. And that's why I don't think this is just like malfunctioning brain chemistry. It's too perfect. It's too precise. If you just somehow had that artistic style locked away in your brain, that doesn't. How could the brain even do that? I mean, how could it just have something so perfectly designed and orchestrated and real precise and all that? How could it execute something by doing a drug that most people will never do in their lives? No, it's the elf things are real. And it's so unexpected. It's so cool. It's a real life living miracle, and all you guys have access to it if you search and try. It will find you. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you can relate. I hope you found it interesting and all that. I'm gonna put a link to my Instagram in the description if you guys want to check out some of my artwork. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. I love you all, and I will catch you later.